Okay, we just finished the series called Devoted, and so this afternoon we would like to, share what each one of us receive in our heart, and actually from different messages, that we read over the last 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So how are we gonna start? Who's gonna start?
Well, Ron started, didn't he?
Okay.
So am I starting now?
Well, no, I think we get to reflect on your message.
Okay, so perhaps I start with actually what I received from Ron's message. So one thing is that is about the three things that he mentioned is about connecting with God and connecting with the people, and we need to engage or connecting with God's mission. So I think that resonates well, with me. It's actually quite simple, but I think what I remember is like because it built a resilient, if I use that word, so basically resilient and continuity, because we can be devoted for 2 or 3 weeks, then we disappear. But the secret, if we want to do for 20 years, 30 years until we see the Lord, that is the three things that what I learned from that. And also, basically allowing God to move within the people rather than something that we fabricated, something that we engineer.
Yeah. And if we go back to that first week, that was our 30th anniversary celebration as well, which was pretty special. And I remember you mentioning, the Bible talks about how people declare their faithfulness, but a faithful man who can find, and reflecting over 30 years of faithfulness and all that. It's like devoted, faithful, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I'm not 30 yet, so.
Yeah. And I'm coming up to 20 years next year at City Life, just by the by. Anyway, but for me, it's like that's what it means. It's like you said, it's not just a couple of weeks. We're talking your life.
That's right.
I'm devoting myself to this, and
I think for me too. I mean, both of those things are sort of those strong themes we've had all that time. And I think the thing that really stood out for me was that really joyfully receiving the Lord. It's not this obligation and drudgery.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. Right. If it's a drudgery, there's something wrong in your heart. Don't look for someone else to solve that problem. That's in your heart.
Yeah.
And it's got to be that real heart connection. In Jesus' time, it was gratitude to him. It was the prostitute that was forgiven and loved much. And it's that hard. That's the thing that stood out to me in preparing for that.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a nice little segue to when you were speaking, Hengki, and the whole idea of the +1, +1, your Bible reading, your connection with people, your prayer life, your mission. But then I like how, that was all very encouraging. I love that. But I love that you brought the focus back to making sure Jesus is in the middle there.
Yes.
And that we're not just trying to +1 our own effort, but actually he is inside of us, stirring us up, leading us and guiding us and exciting us for that. It's a joy. It's a joy that comes from him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know a number of people found that the +1 idea really helpful because it wasn't trying to get to 10 out of 10. It was a matter of, can I incrementally improve, which is the scriptural thing, isn't it? From glory to glory, being transformed into his image. It's not an immediate thing, it's a process.
Yeah,
and I know that was encouraging for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think for me it's because I see a lot of people already devoted. And so sometimes, in a way, we feel guilty if you're asking more. But I know that there's always more that we can do. So that's why just that +1. I thought that because you just want to acknowledge the people who've been devoted in their life toward God.
Beautiful.
And I guess what I love is when Adrian shared other than the sword thing. But
the best message of the series.
Yeah, the best with the sword. So. And it's kind of
just sorry to stop you. Yeah. Did you use your prop?
Yes.
Did you have a prop for one of your messages?
I had
the gym ball.
There was the
massage
ball. That's right. Yeah.
Which Hengki sort of threw feebly to me, but
that's right. Yeah. And then Adrian +1 that.
So there's the sword. What's next, guys?
I don't know.
I don't know. So
a couple of guns, maybe. Just these ones.
So the one that I Adrian said that you can baptize me, but you cannot baptize my sword. That is actually really resonant, and how a lot of times we actually reserve for a few things in our life, not to the giving. And also I like the way that you present about the Ananias and Sapphira, and how they basically, it's not about focusing on the punishment of the Lord, but it's more about, basically, we always holding back the thing that actually
what are we
of
holding
God.
back? Yeah.
So it's actually about the holding back. So that speaks a lot actually in our household. We talk about that, and we still resonate that in our conversations.
And I know, like, it came up certainly in the men's discipleship group was that whole sword thing. And I know a couple of the guys had been thinking about that for a few days afterwards, and processing, what is it that I'm holding out?
Yeah.
And we actually had one guy with a wallet about that thick, and we figured that was the wallet being held above the...
And that person shall remain nameless.
But it's right, what is it that we're holding back? Why are we lying about it? Why are we pretending to be something we're not? What's the point of that?
Yeah.
Which all comes back to that genuine heart connection with God and the joy of the Spirit that's filling us, It's that Acts thing about it was the joy of the Spirit and the fear of the Lord both together.
Yeah, that's right.
Not isolating one or the other, both together.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's been a really good month.
It has been. And I guess just to wrap things up, throughout the devoted series, like if you are like myself, like I feel being challenged, I feel being stretched. When I hear the sermon, I'm not comfortable. Sometimes we kind of like, that's not a piece of God, but no, that is actually God trying to deal with us in our hearts. So if you feel like that too, pray about it, talk to people about it, and we always encourage to have a part of devoted series is that joining the discipleship cells with numbers of cells that is actually starting and already been happening. So it's just really talk about it and basically how the devoted actually going to looks like in our day-to-day life. So then it's not going to be only 2-3 weeks, but it's going to be continuing journey.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Amen.
That's great.
Very good.
That's good.